Hello, we are going to talk about protein today. Have you not heard enough about protein? Oh my goodness. You just know the word, right? But what does that mean? We're going to kind of get a little bit deeper into it because everyone's like, you need more protein, need more protein. Okay, I know I do, but why? What's happening? And I am a registered dietitian. I'm a health coach. I'm also a nutritionist. I'm also a personal trainer, and I love the science. For better, for worse. For those of you, I try to rein myself in as much as I can, but some of you like the science, right? So I get into some of those details, and of course, we have lots of good practical tips that we're going to talk about today. But are you getting enough? Are you getting enough for yourself, for your body type, for your ethnicity, for your age, and whatever sicknesses, illnesses that you might be recovering from, also that requires a different amount of protein. So we're going to get a little bit more into that and answer some of your questions as we go. We're going to talk about what is protein, why do you need it, how much do you need, different types of protein, and a lot of people ask about the plant-based proteins. We're going to get into that a little bit more. I actually have a research study, another one. Of course, there's more nowadays, but when I was working on my master's in nutrition, my thesis was on protein and how much more we need as we get older. And at the time, there wasn't as much research as there's more always coming out. And one of my questions at the end of my thesis was, why is it, there needs to be more research on the difference between animal proteins and plant-based proteins, you know, to conserve the environment and to be ethical and things like that. A lot of us want to focus on plants and also for all the other nutrients that come from plants. But having it be bioavailable, bioavailable meaning that your body absorbs it really well, having it be something that you absorb better for what you're eating, for the amount of calories that you're getting, sometimes we might need to go to that animal-based protein a little bit more. And that is what some of the latest research coming out is saying, that to synthesize the muscle, to keep your muscle, and as we get older, we're losing about 1% of our muscle every decade just by aging. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more too. What do you need to do? You need to be resistance training, which the Diva program gives you all those great exercises. Who goes to the exercise classes? Yeah. Doing that exercise, and you don't even have to. Nowadays, you can just get on YouTube and look up a video for your body type, right? If you're a beginner lifting weights, get a beginner video. Do it for 10 minutes. Just something to get you started, because that resistance training plus improved protein intake is going to help you to keep that muscle. And keeping that muscle will mean that in your 80s and 90s and 100s that you are able to make your own lunch and take care of yourself. It's about quality of life, right? I've been thinking about that a lot in the past decade, and I'm thinking probably you are too, right? You want to stay independent? For sure. So that's why the protein is important. So I'm going to give you some tools also, things that you can use every day, how to get that protein in more, because a lot of what I'm hearing from clients and others is we're going to do the calculations. Once you do the calculations, you're like, wow, how do I get that much? So we're going to talk about how to make that happen too. I see it on some of your faces. It looks like you have been trying to get as much as is recommended. And it's like, you get to the end of the day and you're like, well, and you don't want to stuff it all in before you go to bed. That's a whole other presentation. Don't do that. But one of the things I always come with is you have the power. And that's going to be at the beginning and the end of every presentation that I give. With every choice that you make, you have the power to feed your future self, right? I've been thinking a lot about my future self. I love sweets, but my future self might not appreciate that, you know? And so I've kind of been in this mode of, you've tasted that before. That's my new trick. I don't know if it helps any of you, but sometimes when I'm like, ooh, you know, whatever sweet, you've tasted that before. You know what it tastes like, and it's not going to serve you. So I'm not saying it works all the time, but it helps. It helps sometimes when I'm in a good place. So I kind of introduced myself already. My name is Brenda Morgan. I am a registered dietitian, a health coach, a personal trainer, and my business is called A Health Warrior. I have been teaching classes for Thrive Well, done the math, 18 years. Oh. That's easy for me to remember because my son is 18. So every time he has a birthday, I'm like, I've been teaching for Thrive Well for that long, and I've taught fitness classes, and for the past few years, I've been able to teach more nutrition classes, which is my passion, right? The fitness is a little bit more accessible, easier for people to get to, but when it comes to the nutrition science, we need more of that, and I feel like that is why I am a health warrior, because I have to get out there and say, you guys need to know this, right? And we need community support, because we know that we should eat an apple instead of an apple fritter. But what's happening all around us, right? Look outside, look at all the fast food, look at all the restaurants, look at the grocery stores. The reason I'm saying we have to be health warriors, all of us have to go out there and do that, is because we have to push up against that food environment that we're living in. And so we have to come as a community and say, hey, this is the way I want to be. And so I've found, as I teach these nutrition classes, I'm getting a lot of feedback that says, hey, I went and I told my friend about this recipe, and I told him what I learned in this class. And you go forth and you ripple, and you're affecting, again, you have the power. You're affecting all the people around you. And I'm looking at you and I'm thinking some of you are mothers and grandmothers. And so even though you think they're not listening, they're listening. The people around you are listening. So just briefly, what is a protein? They are the building blocks for your muscles, for your organs, for your hormones, for your skin and your hair. There are 9 essential proteins. Amino acids is what we call them, but I'm just going to say proteins. There are 9 essential proteins that your body doesn't make, and those are the ones that you need to make sure that you get in your diet every day. And that's why we talk about the difference between complete proteins and incomplete proteins. We'll get a little bit more into that. The complete proteins are things like animal proteins, so your fish and your beef and chicken and eggs and yogurt and things like that. But you can get some protein in rice and you can get some protein in beans, but they might not have all of the essential amino acids, proteins that you need. And there's also 12 non-essential that your body makes for themselves. But you want to make sure that you're feeding those muscles and those organs for your heart, for your skin, so you have beautiful skin and beautiful hair. Some of us are driven by the beauty part of it. I want to speak to all of you. So you need those proteins to build muscles and avoid the loss of muscle mass as we age. Muscles are also supporting a healthy metabolic rate. Some people talk about metabolism, right? I want to keep my metabolism up so that I can so that you can be active, but also so that most people are speaking of it in the way of like, I want to burn fat, right? So I want to keep my metabolism up. But that protein is also going to help you physically function, improve your quality of life, and achieve that desired appearance. So are we losing some collagen? Some of us? You can't tell. We're losing some collagen, right, in our face, but we need those proteins in order to replenish that, right, and not look frail. And also those proteins build the hormones and the enzymes in your body too, so to keep everything balanced, you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. Now, this is the acceptable macronutrient distribution range. This is a government and also the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They say, so your distribution would be 10 to 35% protein. So let's imagine you're eating 2,000 calories a day. This is just an easy number to use, right? So 10% to 35% of that needs to be protein. That's a huge range, right? And the reason I'm showing you this is because you might see this when you look something up. Maybe you go into an AI and you go, how much protein do I need? And it's going to say, this is how much you need, because this is what is standard to keep you at baseline healthy, to keep you functional. But it's not optimal. And this is a huge range too. So how do you know what you need as a person? So we're going to get a little bit more into that. So it depends on your age. It depends on your gender. Of course, males are going to need more protein than females in general. It depends on your level of physical activity. And also injury repair or illness healing. So when you are in treatment, or if you're dealing with cancer and diabetes, and if you just had a surgery, some of those things are going to require you to have more protein than you normally would just on a regular day, a regular active, physically active day for you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about those recommendations also. So does everyone have a pen or a pencil or something, or a phone that they can do these calculations? You are going to determine how much protein you need, a range. How much protein do you need every single day? So you don't have to say this out loud. You can if you want. Write down how many pounds about you are right now. If you have a calculator, you're going to divide that by 2.2. That is how many kilograms you are. And I'm sorry about that, but it is the way, it's so funny. Just this morning, I was like, why do I keep teaching this in kilograms? Because this is how the scientists talk. And it was too late for me to change it. I was like, you need to change your presentation to pounds. So then you don't have to do this. But I think because I did all this research, I'm thinking in what the scientists recommend for kilograms, and you'll see on the next slide why that is. So this is your kilograms you've got. So the recommendations for your recommended daily allowance is 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. So just say it's 1. That's easy. To maintain, this is just to maintain what you have. This is not considering that you're aging, that you might be sick, that you might be recovering, that you might be very active. This is just to maintain. So for that 68 kilogram person, 150 pounds, it's about 61 grams of protein. Okay, that's okay. But again, that is just to maintain. So for all of you who are running around, I mean, I've got some clients and divas too that are 70, 80 years old, and they are running around all over the place going to diva classes, and they take care of their grandchildren, and they're doing this and that, and they're going to the exercise classes. To maintain, maybe they still need 1.0 or 1.2 kilograms, grams per kilogram in body weight. That's just to maintain. So that's about 75 grams of protein per day. As we age, to maintain that muscle mass, just to maintain, the science is showing, and this is where I did my research, 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram paired with resistance training. This is the really important part. Many of us, and those of you at home too, were brought up in a time where we didn't resistance train. We didn't lift weights. And I still have clients that'll be like, I don't want to get bulky. You're not going to. I mean, especially now, if you're past 40 or 50, you're not going to. We don't have the testosterone to get bulky, and it's just not going to happen. But you need this to maintain your current muscle mass. If you have an illness or injury, you need at least 1 to 1.6. I would say 1.6 to recover from illnesses. This cancer healing here, 1.5. So this is the low end, that 1.0. I personally wouldn't even look at that. If I was coaching you, I would say we need to be shooting for that 1.6. Now you might already be at that 1.0, and you're going to slowly work up. So what I'm going to recommend to you right now is, if you've done your calculations on the kilograms, multiply the kilograms times 1.2. If you have a calculator, if you have a phone, and if you don't have time to do it now, you can do it later. And then multiply the kilograms times 1.6. Now, so I'm just going to take a guess that you've probably got somewhere around 70, it's recommending about 70 grams per kilogram, more or less, yeah? But you would probably be better at getting maybe 100 grams per day. But you might not be there yet, and you might not want to do that starting today. So give yourself time to work up to it, because if you have taken the time to see how many grams of protein you're getting, like some of you I know have gone on apps and tracked your food and noticed, oh, I'm getting like maybe 50, 60 grams of protein per day, then work your way up, right? Don't just do it all in one day. And you're going to need some tricks. You're going to need some tips to figure out how to fit those in. A lot of times people have a snack, and your snack might be some carbohydrate, maybe a little bit of fat with that. Start focusing on fitting in a little bit more protein in those snacks, and it would be amazing how much more you can get. Like if you just do some extra yogurt, if you just do a little container of yogurt, maybe that's 12 or 15 grams more that you're going to add on. So just little things like that, starting to figure that out. But the research is showing, some of the recent research is showing 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram per day. Now, you have to be careful with that as far as like making sure that you're not still eating the same amount of carbohydrates and the same amount of fat that you were eating before, and then adding in all this protein, and you're like, well, that's too many calories. So you have to switch some of those things out, right? So how are we going to get our protein? We can get, these are the animal sources, and turkey and beef. Now, notice it says lean beef, lean pork. We want to make sure that we're keeping our saturated fat down. So beef is good. It's a great source of protein. Pork is good. It's a great source of protein. But maybe we're doing that once a week because we want to protect our hearts. We want to protect our veins from all that saturated fat and that plaque buildup too. We can also get it from plant sources. So if you remember in the beginning, and you also have it on your slides, I was talking about the difference between a complete protein and an incomplete protein. So a lot of these plant-based sources are going to be, they're not going to have all the essential amino acids, all the essential proteins that you need. But if you combine them, if you do some rice and then you do some beans, then you have all of the proteins, the essential proteins that you need in a meal. But it doesn't all have to be in one meal. You can eat rice in the morning and eat beans in the afternoon, and it still works, right? Your body is still pooling all of those proteins and using them as it needs them. But what's interesting is that quinoa is a complete protein. Even though it's a plant, it has all the essential amino acids. There are only a few plants that do that. Soy, so edamame, tofu, tempeh, any of the soy things, and it's okay for cancer patients to have soy, because I don't know, I think that people are starting to know that now, but I have to keep saying it. Because I know maybe 10 years ago that the doctors were like, oh no, you can't have soy. Now there are some cancers that might be fed by it, but it's not the same. They call it a phytoestrogen. It's not the same estrogen that you might get if you're doing hormone replacement therapy or something like that. This is like an animal estrogen and a plant estrogen. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you can get protein from beans and peas, and lentils are a really good source of protein. Your nuts and seeds, and even the greens that you're eating have some protein in them. Now the nuts and seeds, the one thing I just want to say about that is if you're tracking your food, or if you've ever looked at the composition of an almond, maybe, and people go, it's protein. It is, but it's also half fat. So half of your calories are coming from fat and half of your calories are coming from protein. Those are good fats, and that's a whole other presentation. I have a fat presentation if you want to see it. But just to keep that in mind, they are calorie dense, right? So we're going to do almonds and nuts and seeds mindfully, just paying attention. So getting what you need. So say, and we're using a low number here, say that you need 68 grams. That's just with 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. How are you going to get that in a day? The easy rule of thumb, this is a lot of numbers, right? Don't even look at this. This is a lot of numbers. The easy rule of thumb is 30 grams per meal. That's assuming you're eating 3 meals a day. So 30 grams per meal, that's going to get you 90 grams in a day. And that is an easy way to not have to, for those of you who are not like into the numbers and you don't want to track, and it's too overwhelming and it's too much information, just to know that a salmon or beef or a chicken breast, that's 29 grams right there. That's going to be your 30 grams. Now, what is 4 ounces of salmon? Does anyone know like easy ways to the palm of your hand? Exactly. Yeah. So the palm of your hand, some of us have smaller hands than others. I get less 4 ounces than John does. But yeah, the palm of your hand or a deck of cards is about 4 ounces. That's a good way for you to just eyeball it. If someone else is serving you, or if you're at a restaurant or something like that, that's a good way to know, okay, I got my 30 grams, check on that. Now, breakfast sometimes can become a challenge because, and I'll just tell you that I was actually doing like a challenge with other people in my gym, right? And it was like really protein centered, like more than I even do. I was like, okay. So I was like having to like throughout the day take like pieces of turkey, unprocessed like turkey breast, right? No nitrates or anything like that. Taking like pieces of turkey like as my snack, or just adding it to my breakfast or adding it to my lunch, just to make sure that I was getting that. That's one trick that you can use. If you feel like, okay, For breakfast, I'm having oats and yogurt, and your yogurt's good, but you're only getting maybe in a half a cup, you only get 11 grams, then you still got 20 to go. So getting that lean ground turkey, maybe some lean ground, or sorry, it doesn't have to be ground. Lean turkey, lean chicken, something like that, just maybe adding it into your meal somehow, just to bulk up. Now, some people like protein powders. Those are also really good options too. If you like to do smoothies and things like that, then 2 scoops of protein powder in general is going to get you about 21 grams. And some of them get even more nowadays. And that's another presentation, but I would just say on protein powders, just look at the ingredient list and make sure there's just not a lot of ingredients. Most of them have added a lot of sweeteners to them, right? So just pay attention to that. Sometimes an unsweetened protein powder is good too, but I mean, there are some good vanillas and chocolates out there that don't have as much on the ingredient list. Man, I don't like teaching just one class to you because I'm taking, every time I start talking about something, I'm like, okay, come and tell them, bring them the protein powders, bring them the fat presentation. All right, I'll be back. I'll be back. So we talked a little bit about complementary proteins. Having a nut butter on a whole grain bread, that's going to get you your 9 essential proteins. Those essential ones are the ones that your body doesn't make, and those are the ones that you're trying to get more of. Having beans and rice together is also another trick. Now this is really interesting, and this is part of what I was doing my research on too, is timing. We were talking about getting to the end of the day and seeing, oh, I only have 60 grams of protein, and like thinking, what, I have to eat a bunch of protein now. Really focusing on getting that protein in the morning. It's also more absorbable for us early in the day. The protein helps us to gain that muscle mass if you're doing it earlier in the day, but it also just makes it easier for your day than trying to, at dinner, get 50 grams of protein, right? So if you're doing that 30, 30, 30, that's a really nice base and easier to think about. When you're eating, for some of you who have trouble eating as much, making sure that you get that protein first. So as you have your plate in front of you, you have half of your plate is vegetables, right? Everybody's half of their plate, every meal is vegetables or fruit, right? Some plant. This is what I recommend. And then you have a quarter of your plate is your protein, and a quarter of your plate is some whole grain, some starch. Eating that protein first, eating the vegetables, and then you get your starch. Your starch can be your dessert. Your brown rice, your quinoa, your whole grain toast, that can be like the end of your meal. That helps with you absorbing it too. These are just little tricks. And shooting for what, like I've said many times and we'll keep saying, at least 30 grams at each meal. And then incorporating those protein-rich snacks. Anybody have any ideas of protein-rich snacks? Does anyone? What do you think? Any things that you do or any things that you would like to start doing? You're like, I should really. Let's see if I have some ideas. This isn't a snack. We're to our recipe already. Look at us. Yay. We'll have time to talk. So protein-rich snacks, I'll just go on to that. Like I was talking about, getting those little pieces of sliced nitrate-free proteins, maybe some chicken, maybe some turkey. But of course, the yogurt is always a really great snack, right? And it's nice and comforting, it's creamy, and then you can add in some fruit with it. A lot of people like to do cheese sticks if you do those like a mozzarella, a low fat. String cheese, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, like a mozzarella, that's going to have fat. That's also going to be, it's going to have the fat in it, but that's good too if you deal with being hungry. Often that fat will help to stabilize your mood, will help to stabilize your hormones and your hunger signals too. As I'm making this Waldorf salad, I will come up with more ideas. For some reason, I'm blanking. I'm sure I could give you like a whole list of protein-rich snacks. I know, it's on the slide that is talking about all the how to get what we need. What is it? Eggs! Eggs! Love eggs. Who else loves eggs? Love eggs. Yes. Thank you for participating. Eggs are great. And I mean, if you don't mind them, I often will recommend, and this is good for breakfast and snacks and whatever, is just, make like 5 or, depending on how many eggs you eat, make like 5 or 7 eggs hard boiled at the beginning of the week or just whenever you run out. And that way you can just grab an egg. And eggs are awesome because they have so many other nutrients in them too. Besides the protein, then you're getting that really important fat in there. Again, a healthy fat. Is there anything else on that? I can't see it from here and I don't want to mess up my presentation by going backwards. What else is on that list?
I like nuts.
Nuts,
yeah. Which is a great snack.
Yeah. And also, oh my gosh, now I don't want to push processed foods, but I know that you guys, some of you are very busy and just grabbing a bar, right? So trying to find some simple bars that are high protein. I actually made a list of these, and I don't have it with me, but I will go, because I keep getting questions about protein powders and protein bars, right? So some simple ones I can recommend are I love Kind bars because they taste, it's like food, right? It's not like that processed put together things. But some people like, one of the best ones that's recommended, if you don't mind like very chewy, is an RX bar, because it only has 4 ingredients. And it's like nuts and dates, and they use egg whites to give you more protein. And that's another tip too, especially in the morning. If you buy those egg whites, I add egg whites to my egg because it bumps up yes, so, thank you so much. Wait, I haven't had this one, can I keep it? So she just handed me an RX bar. This is great. Like all it has is, now this one has oats in it. Most of them don't. Most of them are just like nuts and egg whites and some dates. But this, I haven't seen these yet. Thank you. This one has a little bit of oats, a little bit of peanuts and egg whites.
I got it at Sam's.
Ah, she got it at Sam's. Okay, this is why I love teaching these classes, because I learn from you, but also this community that's happening here, like we're exchanging ideas. And once I can get people to start talking, then everyone's like, oh, and this and that. And thank you so much for showing me this.
I know it's got something in it that some of the other ones don't, but.
Yeah, no, and it's only 3 you need those. Oats are good too. I mean, you need carbohydrates too. That's a whole other presentation. But you do need carbohydrates. Don't be afraid of them. RX bars, yeah. So that's another one. I really like the Luna bars. The Cliff bars are good. There's a newish one that's called Kize, Kize. They taste good. That's the thing. They're not like, some of them, they're trying to put so much protein in there, it might get a little bit powdery or a little bit gummy or something like that. But the Kize, go ahead.
They're organic also, I'm pretty sure.
And Kize is organic also, yeah. Anybody else know of any bars that you like that are pretty clean? Those are some recommendations for you to try. They have different textures and flavors and things like that. Just again, I will say over and over again, some of them have very high protein in them, but if you start looking the ingredients level, or the ingredients, there's a long list of ingredients, and half of those things, all the sweeteners, things you don't want. Right? So look for the least amount of ingredients and things that you can recognize. Okay, are you guys ready for some chicken salad? I have a question here.
I can't see it now.
Yeah.
But what is this?
What is that? Here.
And it's printed so small.
Yes, yeah. Let's see.
Because everything else I recognize, but that one I didn't recognize.
It's tempeh. So tempeh is soy.
It's a soy.
It's like tofu that they've taken out a lot of the water and it's fermented. So it's more like tofu is going to be like a little spongier, depending on what kind you get. Tempeh is a really good meat replacement as far as like, say you're making a stir fry and you're going to put like tempeh on top of it to, when you slice it up, it's got more of it is made out of soy and it has like some beans in it, soybeans in it, but it's got a different mouthfeel, right? You can kind of saute it or even bake it. I bake it, sometimes slice it and bake it. So yeah, tempeh. That's another. I actually did that presentation in New Braunfels a couple of weeks ago, was all about soy. Come to New Braunfels. Come to New Braunfels. Okay, let's make some chicken salad here. So what I'm gonna do to make sure that you have enough time here is I'm gonna make it for you, but I'm also gonna let you eat it while I'm making it. This is like a lunch and learn. Yes. Here we go. Rosie, can I ask for your help? I don't. Yeah. And so there's like 10 of us here. So everyone could probably get a pretty good amount because I've made all of this. And the reason why I went ahead and made it for you already is because it is better if you leave it overnight. That's the reviews that I'm getting. It's better if you leave it overnight. And the instructions say that too. So you should have a recipe for this in front of you. But I'm going to go ahead and just make one for demonstration purposes for television. We've got people at home. Now, we'll just start from the beginning here. If you look at the recipe, it says, right in the middle, it says a 12-ounce can of chicken breast in water. You can use rotisserie chicken. You can use leftover chicken breast. You can use any other chicken that you have. I'm always just trying to make things easy for you. And so I try to bring you like, oh, here's this canned, here's this. But if you have fresh stuff, use that. But the reason why I had to put the difference in, this is a 12-ounce can. When I drain this and I weigh it, I've only got 7.5 ounces of chicken left. So that will help you. Like, so when you see 12 ounces there, I mean, you can put more chicken in it if you want to, but to, make it all work out, this is only 7.5 after I drained it. I just wanted you to see the difference. Oh. Yeah. And talk about that too. All right, so we've got some chicken, making it easy. This is so easy, and it makes a lot. The fruit and vegetable that's in it. So it actually really makes a lot. And then I'm just gonna like press it down with a fork. A lot of times when you buy the canned chicken, if you like yours a little creamier, I like to like use a fork and separate it. All right, and then we have 3 tablespoons of the low-fat mayonnaise. So does anyone know about this Primal Kitchen brand? Primal Kitchen makes condiments but they're trying to make condiments that are a little more healthier, right? So this one, most mayonnaises are made out of soybean oil, which is not bad per se, but you have to process a soybean a lot to get oil out of it. And avocado oil is more of a pressing process, so you're squeezing the oil out. And so the Primal Kitchen mayonnaise, anyway, is made out of avocado oil and vinegar and eggs and mustard seed extract and rosemary extract. So it doesn't have a lot of preservatives and other things like that. So when I was making this salad, I'm trying to make it high protein, but you also want it to taste like chicken salad, right? So we're gonna do a little compromise here where I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise with avocado oil, the Primal Kitchen one, and then
Now, is
I'm
that
gonna-
an HEB product or a Trader Joe's product?
Primal Kitchen you can get at HEB or Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can. This is just a. I don't know how to say it. It's not a store brand.
Okay. Yeah.
How would you say that? Not a store brand.
Yeah.
It is a buy anywhere brand. And when I'm driving home, or when I'm driving to New Braunfels, I'll be like, oh, this is the word I should have used. But it's not a store brand. And they have other things too, like they have ketchup. They have like low sugar ketchup and mustard and things that there's not as much stuff in it. So with 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, because you still want it to taste like chicken salad, then I'm gonna put a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. This is a low fat, or I should say like a 2% Greek yogurt, plain. So it's probably better if you don't get like a sugared one. Well, it is better if you don't get a sugared one. Plain Greek yogurt is what you're looking for. But this is another way that you're going to get a little bit more protein in this chicken salad. So you guys are tasting it already. Pretend like I didn't make it. And what do you think?
Delicious.
It's good.
Is it good? So I will confess I did not put the salt in it that is on the recipe. The recipe says salt and pepper to taste. I didn't put the salt in it because the canned chicken has salt in it and the mayonnaise has some, well actually the mayonnaise doesn't have salt in it, but I just don't. I didn't feel like it needed it. Is it salty enough? Mm-hmm. I do put a good amount of pepper because I love pepper. Mm-hmm. And it's good for you. So that's my way of getting extra flavor without the sodium for those people that are worried about the sodium. And then I'm gonna use red grapes just because they look prettier, but also they're gonna add some nutrient value that you might not get all the time. Green grapes work just fine too, and they have their own nutrients, but red is pretty. The red looks sexier. And then I chopped up some celery. So we'll put the celery in there. And then I went ahead and pre-chopped the apple. One of the tricks I wanted to share with you, many of you might know this already. When you chop up an apple before, what happens? Immediately it starts to turn brown, right? But look at that. I did this last night. And look, it's beautiful. So what you do, and then without altering the taste at all, so I squeezed like less than half of a lime, so just a little squeeze from a lime or a lemon, and then just put a little bit of water in it. So I just let it, coat it, and look at that. It's perfect. It's not brown, so it's sexy for television. For the folks at home, we have very sexy apple. You might not be able to see it from here. And then we have 3 tablespoons of chopped pecans. So I had made this recipe in New Braunfels before, and I only put 2 tablespoons of pecans. I love pecans. I put double pecans in everything. That's me. But I was trying to just, keep it clean and look at you've got the nutritional value here. I wanted to make sure that, it didn't have too much fat and all that. But everybody went at the end after they taste it and they're looking at the recipe and then they go, oh, this has pecans in it. Like they got one pecan in their bite. I'm like, we got to fix that. So, and then I put lots and lots of pepper, lots and lots of pepper. If you don't have a pepper grinder, highly recommend you get one. We were just on vacation with my family. We went to Orlando, and I'm like trying to get pepper, and it's those little packets, right? And then even if they have pepper on the table, it tastes like nothing. So I'm just like doing this. I'm like, I need my pepper grinder. It's the difference. And plus there's a lot of really great oils and things in the pepper that are feeding you. And then you get the flavor. So I think we have maybe like 5 more minutes. Do you guys have questions about the calculations you did for your protein intake, about how to get more? Any questions? I did such a great job, you have no questions. So then let me just ask you, I'm not on this schedule to be back in San Antonio anytime soon, but I also want to know, what do you guys want to learn about? Like, what questions do you have just about nutrition in general? What's keeping you awake? Or when you're making a meal, what are you thinking about?
It's not nutrition in general, but I am really interested in the issue of the protein powders and the protein shakes.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, there's been recent information about heavy metals, a concerning amount in some of them. And so I would really like to know more, because I know I have protein shakes every day, and I'm not sure that that's really good for me.
So she's asking, I'm just going to repeat this for the people at home. She's asking about protein powders, protein shakes, some of the recent news about heavy metals and things like that. And is that the best thing for me to be drinking or eating these every single day? And I'm looking, the reason I'm going through my folder right now is because I get this question often. So I created a sheet, and I don't know if I have it with me, that's why I'm looking. I created a sheet that is the protein powders that I recommend, that I've looked through them and I can say, because I have to remind myself, not everybody is like me. They're not going to stand there in the grocery store for however long and try to figure out if this is good or not. Just tell me the brand. Just tell me the brand so I know what's safe. Aha. I only have one. I'm sorry, guys, but at least I can give you some information, right? So I've got a list here that I made. So I sat down for hours and went through every one on Amazon, at the grocery store, and everyone that they're asking me about, and also looking at cost, because some of the really good ones are very expensive. So trying to find something that would work for your budget and for yourself. So some protein shake options, so when I say a shake, I mean one that's in a container and it's already liquid. Some good ones are Orgain Clean Protein is a good one. That one is already in a shake, and it's about $2 per shake. Orgain also has an organic nutrition shake. So they have one that's called Protein Shake, and then they have one that's called Nutrition. And it's actually hard to tell the difference unless you're make sure you're reading it. But the Nutrition Shake, what they do is they take that high protein and then they add in like plant compounds and things like that to try to boost up the vitamins in it. So that's like for people too that might not be getting all the nutrition that they need in a day. Another good one is Evolve plant-based. Now this one's a plant-based protein. I will say, and we didn't cover it in this, but if you're doing proteins. Now, the plant-based is going to get you your protein. Just know that whey protein is more absorbable to your body. So, and I'm just making up numbers here. So say it has 20 grams of protein in it, and it's a plant protein. Maybe if it's a whey protein, and whey would come from milk. If you're milk intolerant, you may or may not be able to do the whey protein. The whey protein, you're probably going to absorb the whole 20 grams. But if you're doing a plant-based protein, maybe you're getting 18 grams, right? It's still significant. It's still a good amount. And it depends on your body, and it depends on the absorbability and what you're eating with it. But it's just something to know. That
What's the name of that one?
Evolve, Evolve, that's a plant-based one. Now, there's one that I don't know if I've seen this one in the stores, but I really liked it. It's Jocks, Jocks. And that one is 30 grams of protein, and it costs $3.33 each. You know which one is really delicious, and you can find this one? It's Kate's Farms Nutrition Shake. It's not just a protein shake. It has 16 grams of protein, but it also has a lot of nutrition in it. It's Kate Farms. The reason I'm getting excited about that is because it tastes really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that spelled?
Kate, Kate, Farms. And this one you can find, at least in H-E-B when I was looking for it. So you know how some of the H-E-Bs have like all the protein powders and all that stuff, and maybe in the healthy living part of it? The Kate Farms, when I found it, it's over in the vitamin pharmacy area. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be true for every H-E-B. I'm just telling you.
It's kind of set them up the same
Yeah.
when they do the planograms.
Okay. Yeah. When they do the planograms, it's often the same. Yeah. But look in both places just in case you look in one and it's not there. And there's also another one that tastes good, is Ripple. And that one I think is going to be more in the healthy living part of it. That's about 20 grams of protein also.
Did you say Ripple?
Ripple. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, I've been talking too long. So just for protein powders, I'm going to go through this really fast. Protein powders, Orgain, Simple. Now, when I say Orgain, the one thing I'm going to say, look for the ones that say clean or simple, because Orgain, even though the quality of their protein is really good, they tend to sweeten it a little bit too much for my taste. That's for my taste. My kids love it. My husband loves it. So you might like the Orgain regular too. But I like the Simple, just has less ingredients. I love Vega protein powder. The taste of it is very good, and not as many ingredients. I'm pausing because I'm looking to see ones that you might actually like the taste of and be able to find. Some of these things you might have to find on Amazon. So there's one called, I really like this one. It's called Manitoba, M-A-N-I, Manitoba Hemp, yeah. It's Y-E-A-H, Hemp, yeah, protein. That one is more, it doesn't have a lot of flavorings and stuff in it. It's more like green. It's green looking, but it's very good for you. So hopefully that was helpful. And I will leave this here. And was there more? Oh, we ate all the chicken salad. Yay, cool, less travel for me. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Tell Rosie, tell Jose if you like me and you want me to come back more when there's time. I would love to be here. And let me know too what else you want to know. You have my phone number and you have my information on those slides under where it says a health warrior. So reach out, text me if you have questions.
Is there any pro or